Hey, what's up guys, Mashin here, come back with a brand new video for you guys. Today we've got a very interesting topic that doesn't reach a specific resolution, but there's a lot of things that could potentially impact you that I think you should be well aware of. The first thing we got to talk about, obviously, is that market explosion. It's going to be very quick and after a word from our sponsor, SkinsMonkey. The sponsor for today's video is SkinsMonkey. Now, SkinsMonkey is the quickest, easiest, and most importantly, safest way to go ahead and trade your CSGO skins. Now, SkinsMonkey is super easy to use. You just have to take your item, take the item you want, and just go ahead, apply code MasterShiny to get your free $5 if it's your first trade, and just click trade. And if you've got no money to spend right now, they've got two ways for you to get some. First is just heading over and topping up. Make sure to use code MasterShiny for a free 5% there, and they've also got the freebies section where you can go ahead and enter free raffles that happen every single day. And as always, thank you so much, SkinsMonkey. Make sure you're using the top link in the description to claim your free $5 today. Now, talking about the market explosion, I'm going to go quick, but I have a couple main areas I want to hit on. First being the major capsules. I talked about it in my past video, but the fact that we're seeing pretty much every single major capsule on the rise has to mean something, and it means that a lot of people are investing. Let's be completely honest. Who is opening up the RMR capsule at this point? The RMR capsule has some absolutely abysmal stickers in my opinion. I think it's honestly the worst in the game. I dislike the background so immensely, but the fact is people are buying them, and people are buying every single major capsule at least out of the past 4, which shows you one specific thing, and that's that investors are in action. If we want to move over to the case market, the other main area I want to hit, we've talked a lot about how the case market has been on an absolute tear, specifically talking about those active duty cases that are on the cheaper end, something like the fracture and the snakebite case, which I want you to remember because we're going to come back to them. Those cases have been on an absolute tear again, and it's very interesting because we're seeing pretty much the entire market go up in price rather quickly, and therefore that kind of causes a bit of concern potentially. Why are these cases moving so quickly, and what specifically is causing them to move so quickly? We're going to be talking about that. I'll get into it in just a quick second. Now, specifically focusing in on those cases, we do have one very crucial document that helps us out a ton when we're talking about cases and looking at case investing in general, and that's the Reddit post by the name I still cannot pronounce, but it gives you an approximation of how many cases were opened. And if you watched my resources video, you'll know just how important this one is. It gives you a very specific lineup of about how many cases are being opened. Everything's an approximation, so take that with a grain of salt, but it does give you a pretty accurate lineup of what specifically is being opened and how many of them are roughly being opened. Now, looking at this document, there's a couple main things we need to point out. The first one being the 30 million, not 3 million, 30 million cases that are being opened in February, the shortest month of the year, only 28 days. We saw 30 million cases. That's more than 1 million a day. And when we focus in comparing that to other months, you can see here that that is a ton larger than what we've seen in the past. The closest we've seen compared to that is May 2021, when this tracker first started, picking up specific months, and that's at 26 million. And if you don't know about May 2021, I want to elaborate for just a quick second about what happened in May 2021. Now, if you look at any specific number or any specific item, you're going to be seeing a very consistent outlier, and that's the fact that we saw a peak of an absolutely massive price during this time. This was the end of Broken Fang, or roughly the end of it. Actually, Broken Fang didn't end on the specific date, but it was removed roughly around that time period. The actual date's not too specifically important, but basically you look at any single item, you're going to be seeing a massive peak during this time. I believe it's specifically like the first week in June, but all throughout May, we were seeing super unsustainable growth. That's the key indicator. We saw massive unboxing numbers and super unsustainable growth, and the thing is, if you look at any graph, you can see that it fell down hard, and I'm not talking about maybe a 10 or 15% decrease. We're seeing absolutely massive crashes for a decent amount of items. Fast forward to today, where we've got our 30 million number of unboxings, and I want to point out that I'm not trying to fearmonger you into anything. Obviously, take the data and make your own interpretation of it. I just want to give you basically what's been going on and why you should be not scared necessarily, but very informed about this, because the last time we saw a massive unboxing unboxing number like we saw today, or roughly, you know, the entire month of February whenever this data came out, we saw a very massive decrease afterwards. Now, obviously, conditions aren't exactly the same. If we want to talk about in the past, we saw obviously an operation had just ended. A lot of people were still in lockdown due to, you know, what was been going on in the world. However, the biggest issue I have with this, or not specifically an issue because it's not like I can change anything, but the biggest problem I see with this is it's not an isolated area. Because we saw so many cases being unboxed, I believe that led a lot of investors to kind of buy up other cases. Obviously, we saw the case prices increase a lot throughout February, and don't get me wrong, I'm sure a decent part of that was due to the fact that we saw so many cases being unboxed. When we saw a 50% increase compared to the month before of January in the amount of unboxings taking place, the prices are not going to keep at the same level they were during January, but we've seen such a major increase for so many prices that I believe we're seeing a decent amount of people investing in just because the prices are going up, which is not necessarily the worst way to invest, but they're not looking at specifically why they're investing, and that also creates a problem of them potentially getting burned later down the line because they didn't invest for the right reasons, but rather because an item was going up in price. It's not specifically what I want to focus in on, but that's just another small byproduct. The other byproduct I want to talk about is specifically trade-ups. If you didn't know, my channel was pretty much built on trade-ups. I used to produce a ton of trade-ups videos. I've got a playlist with like 70 some videos of me doing trade-ups, and for 99 cents you could buy access to the trade-up link of all of them. But the thing is, I really haven't been producing a ton of trade-ups videos lately, and it's not because I don't want to. In fact, I love doing trade-ups. Even though in that last video I got absolutely burned, there's a ton of fun in doing trade-ups. The problem is trade-ups are becoming much harder to find, and I believe that's due to, in fact, obviously trade-ups becoming a little bit more well-known, but also because we're seeing so many people opening up cases and opening up skins that the prices and the margins have just become slimmer and slimmer. Now, if you want to do a trade-up video, you have to find some unrealistic float, which is just not ideal for the majority of people, myself included. And the one biggest thing I want to point out is just how massive these increases have been for me personally. My personal inventory is up around 25% in just the month of February, which is very impressive when you consider that a lot of my investments are very diversified. If you look at my inventory, I've got a wide range of things, and I'll be completely honest, I've even got something like the cobblestone souvenir package, which really has not produced much of an ROI or a great return, but it's still something that's in my inventory taking up $700. So it's a very large area that I have investments in. But the fact that it's up 25% with how diversified it is at this point shows you, or at least it should show you, just how massive and widespread these market movements have been. To kind of wrap up the video and get the whole point all together, the biggest point I want to get at from this video is not everything is going to be this great happy sunshine growth for CSGO for such a long time. Just because it's been happening for the past month doesn't mean it's going to be sustainable, and I'm not trying to fearmonger you or do anything like that. I just want to give you some insights that things like this have happened before, and tons of people have gotten burned before, and I don't want that situation to happen to you specifically. I'm not telling you to sell, I'm not telling you to buy, I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm giving you the information, and I want you to take that information and come up with whatever you think is the best plan of action to do moving forward. But that's pretty much all I have. I want to thank you guys so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day.